Hey, this is Daphne Valcin with Valcin Strategic Solutions. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my good friend, Scott Ferguson. Let's level up.
Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. It's Scott Ferguson, and I am super grateful, blessed, stoked to bring you my good friend, coach, consultant extraordinaire, Daphne Valcin from Valcin Strategic Solutions. I have pages of notes that's going to help me level up my coaching for my clients. And actually, the few things that she said that's going to level up me for myself. We really dig deep into her Haitian past, or I should say Haitian history. Fantastic framework with her family, how she has her kids like excited about moving out in the world and doing some work. I mean, we cover everything in this, not just business, but we got into a little personal as well. And she's so great. I'm so grateful that she was an open book and shared. So if you like it, please smash the subscribe button and the like button. My sponsors and affiliates absolutely like that, love that. And without further ado, here comes my really good friend, Daphne Valcin from Valcin Strategic Solutions. Let's level up. Hey, Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. Welcome back to another powerful edition of the Time to Shine Today podcast with Coach Fergie. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, blessed to be your gap coach, specializing in performance, mental conditioning, working with professionals and amateur athletes, business leaders, entrepreneurs, entertainers, C-suite, and students to help them bridge their success gap to live a life of options and not obligations. On this platform, we are stoked to bring you high performers who are not just chasing and attaining success, but are redefining it through providing above and beyond service. And I'm going to bring you on a legit powerhouse who doesn't just talk transformation. She delivers it at the highest level on this planet Earth. I'm beyond pumped to welcome Miss Daphne Valcin, a master certified coach, which is kind of like the highest coaching certification you can. Fewer than 5% of the coaches worldwide have it. And she's earned it by coaching over 400 plus clients across 4 countries to their next level of greatness. She's not only been featured on Forbes.com, but she's also been trusted by giants like United Healthcare, Lockheed Martin, and JP Morgan Chase to shape their top talent, ignite employee engagement, and elevate cultures from good to legendary. Whether it's career growth, business breakthroughs, or unlocking elite performance, Daphne doesn't just play small. And today she's bringing the fire to help you stop playing small too. Miss Daphne, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Ooh, good question. All right, that was a great introduction, by the way. One of my best I've ever heard. But I would say favorite color, sky blue,
Sky
which
blue.
Interestingly enough is in your background.
It is.
And why I feel like there's a certain feeling that's communicated by when people see that color, whether it's outside or on someone's clothing or somewhere else. Sky blue is just a vibrant, I feel like a hopeful, upbeat color.
Yes. And like, I'm not trying to rub anything in, but I'm looking at the Atlantic Ocean right now with the sky blue that's over here to my right. And Scott, if you're watching on Vimeo or YouTube, it would definitely be in her color wheel. She's absolutely stunning, but she's also a rock star powerhouse. So I love Miss Daphne, to get to your roots. Like, how did you kind of come up now to where you're rocking over 400 plus clients across 4 countries? Like, this is a huge story. I've been waiting to kind of have this fun conversation with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I grew up with a father who was committed to excellence in all things and a mother who taught me the value of coaching. So my parents are Haitian immigrants and came here around 19, 20 years old. And my mother was able to get her bachelor's degree by the age of 40, associate's degree by the age of 25, after coming to America and not speaking any English. So, when I was growing up, my mother used to be telling the teenagers who would stop through my house before they walked to school, she would tell them, hey, I would love to learn about what you want to do when you grow up. And based on what you want to do the exams that you need to take, do the degree that you need to get. All right. So make sure that you study, make sure you do this. Here's some advice I would have for you. So she was the first coach that I observed. Fast forward, my undergraduate degree was in public relations, spoke at my college graduation, my graduate degree, secondary education, English. And then I spent a lot of my years working in managing programs, in public policy work, and realized that the through line was tapping into the potential of people and their ideas. Wow. So in 2014, I became an entrepreneur and have had my business ever since. But it was really the foundation that my parents gave me about helping others and doing things in excellence. And then also just my desire to see things grow.
I love it. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a lot of where I live here in South Florida. There's a lot of a Haitian population, right?
Yes.
Did you grow up speaking English and Creole, or is it like how did that work out for you? Like, so you can communicate across the board then.
Great question. So I spoke English mostly in the house, but my middle school had so many Haitian
Okay,
kids,
right.
Haitian first generation American
Yeah.
or born in Haiti, that I learned Creole, Haitian Creole at school. And
Wow.
then, and I spoke it to my grandmothers when they would live with
Wow.
us for a while or when they would visit because
Is
they
it?
didn't
Yeah.
speak English very much, and to other family members who didn't speak English. So I speak English, I speak Haitian Creole, I traveled to Kenya a little bit, I speak some Kiswahili, tiny
Really?
bit of French, and conversational Spanish when I can remember it.
Just a well-rounded lady. This is
I
awesome.
try.
So when did we kind of form Valcin Strategic Solutions on?
Yes. So actually, my first iteration of my business was called Daphne Valcin Coaching.
Okay.
And a
I love
few
the
years
strategic
ago,
solutions, by the way. Love that.
yes. Thank you so
I did
much.
the same thing. That's why I turned into Time to Shine Today coaching, right?
Oh,
So yeah. So I
what
kind
was
of did
your
the same
business
thing.
before, Scott?
It was coaching as well. It was,
Okay.
yeah. So, but we also, you and I kind of probably begin with the end in mind, right? So there might come a time when we can sell it and be able to sell a name like that. It'd be better. The pass it on to
Yes.
somebody else that wants to level up the masses. So that's
Yes,
awesome.
yes,
Okay.
exactly. So what I realized was over time, more and more of my clients became senior leaders, executives within organizations. And I also realized that I always loved speaking. As I mentioned, I spoke at my college graduation. My band director, I was a color guard captain. He would force me to speak to the girls that
Okay.
I was captain of about morals, about who they would be when they grew up,
Yeah.
about how we should conduct ourselves in school on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And so I didn't like speaking at all in front of groups when I was younger and eventually learned to love it. So
Right.
the speaking piece and the having the executive leaders as clients kind of translated into me eventually doing more training and
Sure.
speaking and coaching. So I needed a business name that would be able to really encompass those things that I do for clients.
Love that. And so do you work like you work a lot more with companies or one-on-ones, or what is kind of your structure?
Yeah, so currently I have about 20 one-on-one leadership development clients, and
Nice.
then I have companies that usually on average around 2 or 3 times per month, I'm doing training or speaking with companies. And then I have a contract now with an organization that's a mixture of coaching
Sure.
and training sessions for that company over a period of about 4 months per cohort,
Sure.
where I've developed the training for their leaders.
Right.
But ultimately, the things that I do all pretty much relate to programs, assessments, coaching, or training.
Gotcha. And I know I'm going to get a look of, oh yeah, when I ask this question, like, oh yeah, I get it. So like I will get brought in to a professional team, right? Or a company. And they walk in and the CEO or somebody way up there in the C-suite is bringing me in to level up the company, right? There's always that second or third in a command. There's like, what the hell, man? Why is this lady coming in? I saw there's that look. Okay. How what is yours, like, not secret sauce, but how do you relate to that person to really get them on board? Because that person can either be your biggest cheerleader or your biggest cancer, right? So I
Yes.
would love to know because I'm weak in this, right? So I want to learn from the best.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. So I was once called into an organization to work with an individual and a team that were having some challenges.
Okay.
And I knew, based on what I had been briefed on, that one of the individuals that I would be working with when it came to the one-on-ones may not actually be interested in
Right.
working on their
Sure.
development. And so I delved into a whole bunch of professional development on how to work with leaders who maybe push back, who maybe don't want you
Right.
to work with them. And here is the gem that I found and what worked in this project. It was taking a lot of time to build rapport on a personal level. When I say personal, I mean not just like the weather or like news and sports, but really learning about who this person is, what
Yes.
it is that they're passionate about,
Right.
who they were when they were younger,
Right. Yeah.
how they came to be interested in the things that they're interested in now, learning about their family. So I
Love
did
this.
that in this case with this person who was initially resistant.
Right.
And over time, that person shared so much with me to the point where when I met them in person, because we started out virtually, over time, they took their hands in my hands and said,
Right.
thank you so much. Really,
Yes.
thank you for all that you're doing for our
I
team.
love that.
So, rapport, it's building trust, it's building
Yeah.
connections, building bridges,
Yeah.
what we all have the opportunity to do on a regular basis.
I love that. And Squad, did you hear that? She built rapport with the person that could either, for lack of a better term, make or break her, right? Make or break the situation there. And what I do with myself is I implement what I call being from the Motor City. I implement the Ford, the FORD, a family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. If you can find out those four things from anybody that you're talking to, but especially that person that you really need a breakthrough with, use that. Just like Daphne, she got to know the family, where they want to be, where they see themselves, stuff like that. So thank you for sharing. That was the best advice you could do across any board. Like if you're getting introduced to a new family where you might be dating somebody, you want to get to know that person that's blocking you back, but you get to know them, get two ears and one mouth for a reason and listen, they start to accept you a little more. I love this. This is awesome. So you've coached leaders from the Fortune 50 powerhouses to solopreneurs, right? That's hungry for growth. What's the one internal shift that you've seen that instantly unlocks like a massive external results? Like, what do you see?
Hmm. I'm going to explain this in terms of a framework that I really, really love, but I'm going to start by summarizing it and saying the shift is going from seeing themselves as not having any ability to shift the situation to being powerful and having unlimited possibilities.
Love it.
And for those who are listening, that's if even if let's say you no longer have your job all of a sudden, going from saying, I don't know what I'm going to do to saying, well, what new door can open for me now? Getting bad news and saying, instead of this is an absolutely horrible situation,
Right.
maybe saying, what can I learn from this situation? Or how will pushing through this help me to be a stronger person or a more peaceful person on the other
Yes.
side, right? So with this framework, it's the 7 levels of leadership.
Sure.
Level 1 is victim. Level 2 is conflict. So level 1, victim, meaning I don't have any power in this situation. I don't know what I can do. And with these 7 levels, everybody goes to level 1 and 2 immediately in times of stress. You get really, really sick and
Right.
you're going to miss something you really, really care about. Of course, you're going to feel really bad about it, right? So level 1, level 2. Level 2 is conflict.
Sure.
And so that's being mad, being angry. I can't go to my event, right? Or
Yeah.
going from level 1, how dare that boss treat me any kind of way? Or not even that, but like they're horrible and there's nothing I can do about it. Level 2 is you got an attitude with your boss,
Right.
right? So we don't want to be a level 1 or level 2. Level 2
Right.
is higher than level 1 because you feel like you have power in the situation, but it's not always the best, right? Level 3 is coping. It's going through the motions. It's saying, you know what it is. And that's fine. I missed the event or the boss is who the boss is. I'm just going to come to work. A job is a job, right? It's level 3. The best leaders start to be at level 5 and above. So keep listening. Level 4 is sacrificial service. Level 4, you're like, I'm going to go above and beyond and prove that boss that I deserve
Yeah.
to be here, right? Level 4 is I'm going to clean the whole house, even though I can't go to the event I want to go
Sure.
to because I'm super sick. I'm going to clean the whole house. Level 5 is win-win. So it's when you start to think, what is the best case scenario in this situation?
Right.
Maybe it's developing rapport with your boss and saying, hey, I know that you wanted me to do this specific thing
Sure.
and I can definitely get it done, but I'd
Sure.
love to bring on Jim and Lisa to help me out
Love
so
it.
that we can make sure that we're able to push this across the finish line in a way that's really going to ensure the success of the
Is
project.
Jim and Lisa within their company or your
Yep,
company?
Jim and Lisa in your company, whatever company that you're in,
I got you.
saying as opposed to saying, well, I just level 4, gonna have to work extra hours today to get this thing done. My
Right.
boss doesn't like me.
The second.
Why
Yeah.
me? Instead of saying that, saying, hey, I'm gonna delegate. I'm gonna get Jim and Lisa on this on my team.
Love it.
And I'm gonna tell my boss, but I'm gonna tell him in a way that's gonna be answer the question of what's in it for him, for the boss.
There you
So
go.
we're going to bring this across the finish line, just like you want. It's going to be great. We want to ensure success. We want to make sure the clients are pleased. So I'm going to bring Jim and Lisa on.
Love it.
So that's level 5. Level 6 is everybody wins. How do you
Love it.
be what I call a culture changer on your team, in your family, right? How do you create an environment where people want to be there as a leader or as someone who's working or in a friendship,
Yeah.
how do you become the person who sets the atmosphere? That's level 6 leadership. And then level 7 is unconditional peace. So how do you be resilient? And I will say, I just met Scott, but I feel like Scott is just like, now I was gonna put you in here. He is just like flowing water. Like, I don't know, the peace that you exude is so
Thank you.
wonderful. And it seems like the kind of peace that comes through experience. Like you've experienced some things
Few
and
things.
you have
Yeah.
chosen to have peace in spite of everything.
Yeah.
So with all those levels, we go through the different levels
Sure.
on a regular basis, but the best leaders try to be at level 5 and above as
Yeah.
much as possible. And I'm gonna give a shout out to Scott, even though I just met him, but he's just
Thank you.
oozing of level 7
Thank
leadership. So that's the biggest transition, is going from feeling powerless
Right.
in whatever
Being
situation
the
people are
victim, right?
experiencing to realizing that people have power and possibility.
Gosh, what was the number 2 after
Number
victim?
2 is conflict.
That's right. We have to have that to grow, right? Okay. That's beautiful. So when you're working with maybe one of your one-to-ones, is there like any kind of secret sauce that you use to maybe help shine a light on that initial blind spot that they might be
Mm.
trying to get through that they don't even know they have?
Yeah. One of the exercises that I have shared with clients is old messages versus new messages. So it's asking clients, what is it that you're currently telling yourself about the situation that is not serving you well?
Yes. The stories, baby, right?
Yeah, it's the
It's the
stories.
stories we
The
say.
stories. I'm never going to get
Love that.
promoted. I'm
Yeah.
always going to have an issue with this manager.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just not good enough like they told me. Maybe
Sure.
I can never date again, right? Well, I
No,
don't
I
do
got you.
traditionally life coaching, but just in
No, I
case
got you.
that's you, if
You
you're listening
could.
today,
You could.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so maybe it's those, and then I say, now what are some new messages that you can
Yes.
tell yourself that address those old messages, but that will serve you better in whatever it is that
Yes.
you're striving to do. And that's helpful
100%.
for them being able to identify
Yeah.
for themselves what those blind spots are.
I'm blessed to coach a player that's in the NBA playoffs right now, and he's starting to listen to himself
Mm.
instead of talk to himself. What you were talking about right there, control the
Mm.
conversation. And then he went out the other night and had a great game. But he was never been under this pressure before, right? And I'm like, listen, you're listening to yourself. Quit. Let's start talking to ourselves, like you just kind of mentioned. And I love that the kind of the culture of a company because I see you. And I was taught a long time ago in the early or mid 1990s that do what you love in the service of people that love what you do. Right. So
Mm.
I do what I love. I see you do what I love, you love, but in the service of people that love what you do, they actually see that you love what you do. So they're receptive to it. I love that aura that you're bringing off. That's beautiful. Another thing is that like along with your 7 steps there, it's like we have to also remind the company that, especially if you're going to push them hard, that they're part of something, they're cared for and supported, they're making a difference, having fun and celebrating their successes and being recognized for their contribution. And within those 7 steps, every single one of them is nailed. So like that's just beautiful. Like that I love talking to people like Daphne Squad because I get that's like I get like my own little free masterclass, and so do you, which is awesome. So is there like maybe you're in that discovery conversation still, Daphne? Is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
Hmm. Hmm. That's a good question. Maybe, maybe a good question that someone could ask me in a discovery conversation is, I'm interested in knowing, what exactly do I need to do in my
Yes.
work with you in order
Yes.
for me to be successful in this
Yes.
process?
Yes. What is my part? How do I move out of this darn victim thing, right? How do I take responsibility, which is nothing more than the ability to respond, right? So to do that, that's why you're so highly sought after. This is fantastic. This is awesome. So have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
Yeah, but I don't remember it. But yes, saw
So it
it.
was 40 years ago last week, right? That this movie came out. That's crazy, right? But okay, so let's get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly. Let's go back to the Double Deuce, the 22-year-old Daphne. What kind of knowledge nuggets might you drop on her? Not to change anything, because your journey is your journey and it's awesome, but maybe help her shorten the learning curve during her journey. Maybe blast through a little bit quicker. What might you drop on her?
What's interesting, is that I was talking about that 22-year-old Daphne this morning with my mother. And one of the gems that I would drop on her is know that when people show you who they are, believe them, and that you have the opportunity to choose the energy that you desire to be around you.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, everything goes around responsibility. I love it. Not reactability. That's beautiful. How about your dash? How do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and your death date. Hopefully it's way down the line. But like that dash, which one of those chapters in that dash do you hope changed the most lives?
Hmm. Which chapter? Hmm. I feel like one of the chapters that I hope changes the most lives in the future is what I've poured into my children. And just to
Oh,
elaborate, I used to go so hard for everybody before I had kids. I still go hard for people now, but I was going super hard, meaning if I'm in Georgia and you're in New York and you need somebody to cheer you on for something you got going on, I'm in New York.
love it.
If you need somebody to talk to, it's 11 p.m.
Yep.
That's me. If
Yeah.
you're short on your rent
Yeah.
and you're my friend and we've been friends for so
Sure.
long, you don't even need to ask. The money is in the bank, right?
Love it.
So what I hope for
Yeah.
myself was that
Yeah.
once I had kids, that I would be able to shift some of that energy and make sure that I'm also
Yeah.
giving to them those things that I've given to everyone else. So
Wow.
now my children actually work in my business. They are 7 years old and 9 years old. They do administrative work, counting copies. They know how to make flyers. They use Canva.
Yeah.
They
That's
understand what I do in my
awesome.
speaking engagements. They know about investing
Yeah.
and retirement
Dude.
accounts, savings, a little bit about real estate
Yeah.
as well. But they also know how to be good to people. So
Sure.
they know how to serve, they know how to volunteer, they know
Yeah.
how to ask to help.
Get your
We're
asking
also
gear.
learning balance and self care because
Sure.
I've learned that over the years. So my oldest is like, and can we go out to eat? And can we hang out at the park as well in the
Right.
middle of all the work?
Sure.
They get A's in school, all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
So my hopes are that, yes, they're successful on their own,
Yeah.
but that I'm able to multiply the impact that I've been able to have in this world and that my mother's poured into me and that her mother's poured into her through my children going out and doing great things
Yeah.
for their families,
Yeah.
themselves, and the communities around
You are by the time
them.
your children are, I love that you have them get their asking gear, right? They're asking because by age 13, most children are told no 135,000 times on average, right? And that's the worst thing I could have ever did. I should have explained, took the time. That's the one thing that I don't ever regret anything, but I tell her all the time. But your kids are going to, your offspring are going to go out there and they're going to start at that 5, 6, 7 level wherever they go. And that's kudos to you. That is freaking awesome. So that's beautiful. So
Thanks,
what
Scott.
is Daphne's definition of a life well lived?
Hmm. For me, a life well lived is one where I'm able to connect well with God and connect well with others. that's
100%.
pretty
Yeah.
much it in a nutshell.
Yeah. That's strong. Time to shine today. Podcast Varsity Squad. We are back. And Daphne, next time on the ATL, we can meet somewhere for a coffee, and I'll probably pick your brain on a couple more things, and you probably have more time to explain it. Each one of these questions, maybe even 10, 15 minutes. But today, you've got 5 seconds with no explanations. I promise you, they can all be answered that way. You ready to level up?
I'm ready.
All right. All right, Miss Daphne. What is the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Hmm. I think it would be Daphne. People remind me of this. You can do anything that you put your mind to.
Love it. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Time management. I'm a time blocker.
Love it. So you see me at an event, or maybe just run into me and you're like, man, Fergie looks like he's in his doldrums a little bit. Other than becoming the ripple, what book might you hand somebody that maybe
Hmm.
flip the switch for you, other than the good book also, but becoming the ripple, but like what book has kind of inspired you?
Take the Stairs by Rory Vaden.
Yes. Great read. Awesome. Your most commonly used emoji when you text.
Face.
Yes. Nicknames growing up?
Daph, Daph, and what else? A daffodil.
I love it. Love it. Chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Checkers.
All right. Headline for your life.
Mm. She changed the world.
Love it. Go-to ice cream flavor. Go-to ice cream flavor.
Vanilla,
All right. There's a sandwich called the Daffodil. Build that sandwich. What are we eating?
hummus,
All right. All right.
grilled chicken,
There we go.
maybe kale,
Okay. You dig that.
maybe some mustard,
Okay.
and on some wheat bread.
Love it. Love it. You can eat out anytime. Love that. Favorite charity and an organization you like to give your time and or money to?
Currently, it's the Agape Center in Atlanta.
Beautiful. Very good. Thank you for doing that. And last question, we can elaborate on this one just a little bit, but what's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
90s.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. Very cool.
Good.
So, how can we find you?
LinkedIn under my name, Daphne Valcin. Website is Valcin Strategic Solutions, but you can find me at daphnevalcin.com as well. I think those are my two favorite ways for you to find me.
Gotcha. And so you wrote this fantastic book, Becoming the Ripple. Okay. Give us a little, and it came out, I believe, last year, right? I believe it was like September, October, something like that of last year.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your book and like where the roots of it came from, and then who would be the best person to read it.
Sure. Thank you so much. In 2020 is when I created this framework called Waves. It's making waves, growing your
Okay.
influence and your impact. The
Okay.
reason why I created it was because in 2019, I created a goal to have at least 20 paid speaking engagements that year.
Love it.
And my goal was to continue to do that through 2020 and beyond, not
Sure.
knowing the pandemic would come.
Yeah.
In 2020, I ended up having at more than that in terms of engagements. But the reason why is because organizations were asking me to come in and speak about resilience or what happens when individuals may have productivity issues. How do we help to re-engage our employees? How do we make sure that our employees are and our managers are treating one another well?
Right.
And so I created this book, Making Waves, and it's about how to grow your impact and your influence
Love
towards your
that.
career success based on that framework that I created in 2020, because there was a great, great, great need for workplaces to have the things that I talk about in
Yeah.
that book. So there's a waves framework in there that I currently still get invited to speak about quite often.
That's awesome.
But it came out of a need, basically, that society was having as a whole
Sure.
to really up level what employees and managers were hearing that could
Sure.
help them in those hard times.
I love
So the people who this book would be best for are managers or senior leaders, professionals who really feel like they're ready to take their approach to their career to the next level, and also people who want to change the world. That's always going to be
Absolutely.
the subtext in
Yeah,
everything
be
that I
that
do is,
catalyst, right?
and how
Yeah.
can you make a difference and be a catalyst? Hence the phrase becoming the ripple.
Love that. I love because a wave's got to start somewhere. And that ripple's where it starts inch by inch, it's a cinch, right? By the yard, it's hard. Everyone wants this big wave. Big wave didn't start from from big wave. It's a ripple. So then how you know what? I'm gonna do a 5 book giveaway squad. So the first 5 people that put
Ooh.
daffodil in any of our social, I don't care if it's LinkedIn, which I'd preferably be there because that's where me and our friend Daphne hang out the most. But you can also text it to 561-440-3830. We'll make sure that we get your address and get that book out to you. You can put it in Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you're at. We'll find it and just we will definitely get that book out to you. And Miss Daphne, if you could please leave us with one last knowledge nugget that we can take with us, internalize, and take action on.
Sure. So we live in a world where we are constantly having to figure out how to address the challenges that come up in our families, in our personal lives, in our own minds, in our workplaces, everywhere. One of the things that I would like for people to remember that has helped me to be able to live my life in a way that I think is that I can feel really happy about, really glad about, is to constantly remind myself, and I want you to constantly remind yourself that in spite of any challenges that you are experiencing or that you experience in the future, there is always space for possibility, always space for possibility. So
Love
I
that.
just wanted to remind you of that.
Love it. And squad, I just had a really fun conversation, first of all, but second of all, it was basically a free masterclass that we had. My friend Daphne comes from a family, a father that was committed to excellence, and a mother that was committed to coaching and raising her in a way for her to communicate. My good friend Daphne, really believes in building the rapport throughout the company. Her 7 steps of victim, conflict, coaching, sacrificial service, win-win, everybody wins, being that game changer and at the end leadership. That's where it really breeds to, right? And if you're starting to work with a coach, if it's not Daphne, but you ask them, what exactly do you expect to be? Where do you see this relationship going? What do I need to do to be the best of it? Choose who you are. Know that when people show you who they are, believe them. Okay. And then you get to make that choice and how you can move forward with that person in your life. Another big aspect that I took away here is to get your asking gear. That comes from my good friend Leah Woodford. And she said, get your asking gear. Just ask. What's the worst that they can say? Right. I mean, my good friend Daphne, she does things for the intention, not the attention. She's not out on social. Look at me, look at me. She's actually dug deep into these 450 companies and making changes for them. They're making the changes, but she's the catalyst for that. She's planting trees she's never going to sit in the shade of. She believes that a life well lived is to connect with God and let that lean into others as well. And remember that we live in a world where we have to address challenges. Remember to remind yourself, in spite of the challenges, there's always a space for possibility. That's my good friend Daphne. That's why she's at the level that she's at. She levels up her health. She levels up her wealth. She's absolutely stunning. She's earned a varsity letter here at Time to Shine today. Thank you so, so much for coming on. I absolutely love your guts.
Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure to be here.
Yay. Chat soon, Daph.
Chat soon.